Should you buy Amazon after the dip? Let's take a look to find out. The first thing that I love about Amazon is that Amazon is a spawner. Chris, what's a spawner? Monish Paurai is the creator of this term, so he'll explain it better than anyone else.
Basically, these are companies that have a deep conviction of, and really it's part of the DNA to keep adding and incubating new businesses that have the potential to be massive growth engines. They expect many of these things to fail and they take failure in their stride. And, a good example is the Bezos quote, it says staying in day one requires you to experiment patiently, accept failures, plant seeds, protect saplings, and double down when you see customer delight.
And having this day one mentality for a company the size as Amazon, it's perfect. It has no risk because Amazon is drowning in money, and the reward, if any of these bets goes well, is super high. And there's a clear difference between spawners and diversified businesses. For example, Microsoft is clearly a diversified business with a lot of different services and products. All of them are generating revenue, all of them contribute to the net income. On the other hand, spawners have lots of different businesses. We've probably never even heard of them, and they are probably just burning money. But the possibility that one of these businesses is a moonshot already makes them worth it. And spawners are basically companies such as Alphabet, Tencent, and Amazon. And you may be like, Chris, this is amazing, but why is Amazon falling? That's the reason I entered your video. The main reason is that Microsoft looks to be, in the public size, the main cloud provider winner. That's only perception. But the reality tells us otherwise. People are seeing that Amazon's growth is slowing down. And then on the other hand, you have Google, which is already a hated company, so it doesn't matter if it's growing or not. Google is out of the way. And you have Azure from Microsoft that has a 30% growth. So people are seeing this and they are like, oh, then Microsoft is better than AWS. But that's the key difference. Microsoft is being very strategic. They are bundling all the Azure with traditional server products to make their cloud numbers look much bigger than they are in reality. For this reason, when you look at the operating margins, Microsoft's operating margins for the cloud segment look much better than AWS's and Google Cloud Computing. Moreover, you also add that the Microsoft Intelligent Cloud segment is bringing much more revenue than AWS and Google Cloud Computing, and you already have this herd behavior of people thinking that, oh, Microsoft is overtaking AWS. But in reality, if we were able to do an apples to apples comparison, we have that AWS is still the cloud leader. And it's really funny because just a few days ago, on the 24th of July, Google CEO published this tweet in which there was this table, and he was like, you see, Google's the main AI leader. It has all the stack. And finally, someone replied to the tweet and they were like, oh, where's Alexa's stick? Because Amazon also has everything that Google's offering. This is what I want to talk about. Google and Amazon are the main leaders. Obviously, Amazon is a bigger leader, the OG, because they have the first mover advantage. So everyone's already using the AWS infrastructure. And once you start with AWS, or even if you start with Azure or you start with Google Cloud Computing, it's really difficult to change from one to another one. And it's pretty funny because after these results, Amazon's share price is dropping, Google's share price is dropping, but Microsoft's is going up. And I think I've shown you this table 1,000 times before, and I always say that the AI mode is in the distribution. So Google and Apple should be the leaders because they have software and hardware really well integrated. Then Amazon has the hardware, but most importantly, Amazon is not participating in this AI rush in the same way. They are just providing the cloud services, which are proven to be in high demand. So they are not undertaking the same risk Google and Microsoft are if AI fumbles. Apple's also doing something similar, as they've not invested in AI the same way Google and Microsoft has. But I think the best position player is Amazon by far. And I just want to give you a funny example of my dad. He doesn't like nor does he use Android, iOS, nor Windows. but he does use Amazon. And I feel that all businesses have some kind of competitor or at least alternative. We've seen this with Adobe. A lot of people started searching for alternative because they just don't like it. And you could somehow also replace Windows, you could replace Android, Apple, but the fact that you can get things delivered quick, fast, in a cheap way with Amazon, there's no competition to that. I mean, yeah, there are other retailers, but the fact that Amazon is a retailer who does tech, it's such a unique combination that builds it like a fortress, a real wide moat company. So, is it a good time to buy Amazon? It's the same business it was a month ago, 3 months ago, even a year ago, just a different stock price. If you loved Amazon at 240, you loved Amazon a week ago when it was 220, you'll definitely love the fact that it's at a cheaper price right now. And I've said this time and time again, people are way too focused on the story of a stock. When the stock is going up, everyone likes it. Everyone was buying Evolution when it was going up. Everyone liked Alphabet once it finally surpassed $200 per share. But then when they dip, no one likes them. They are like, oh, Chris, but the story has changed. You don't understand the narrative. Of course, I don't understand the narrative. I look at the business, I look at the fundamentals, I look at the prices. If the fundamentals haven't changed and it's at a cheaper valuation, for me, that's a buy, as long as I like the business, obviously. In this case, Amazon is a wonderful company. My intrinsic fair price per share is at around $190. So, no, I'm not buying it, but I've created my dad's pie chart. I'm using a debit card that has a 1.5 cashback, and all that cashback and all the cash that I save when I buy something goes into this pie chart, which is 50% Amazon and 50% Nvidia. And for me to actually invest in this business, I need a higher amount of conviction. When I have conviction, when I was sure Alphabet was at a great valuation, when I was sure Evolution was at a great valuation, I had no doubts. I started a large position in both companies. Right now, only these two companies make up 70% of my portfolio. And I've gotten a lot of UNH comments of, oh, this is a great business. Oh, Chris, I don't know why aren't you buying? Well, I just don't feel comfortable in buying that. I really like what Warren Buffett said in 2017. The trick in investing is just to sit there and watch pitch after pitch go by and wait for the right one in your sweet spot. If people are yelling, swing, you bum, ignore them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just ignoring it. I know a lot of people made a lot of money with Figma, a lot of money buying Bitcoin. I just ignore it and I try to learn from my bad decisions. And trust me, I made a lot of bad decisions. But at least I took decisions, which is also important. This comment from Oscar completely describes me, the way I invest, and the way that I do business in general. I focus a lot on the quantitative side of things. I don't look at the story. I sold Amazon at $450 per share and I invested that whole amount in Google. I've also sold Nvidia when it was like $400 before the split. I only got a 40% return on my investment, and I would probably be better off right now if I didn't sell any of these holdings, any of my positions. But that's my mistake. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have always said that they would have been better doing less, and it's something that I gotta change about me. I gotta let my darlings run. That's something that I've not learned how to do yet, but I'll try to be much more laid back with my investments and enjoy the returns. Hopefully, you've learned something from my mistakes because I'm clearly not learning from my mistakes, unfortunately. I do think that Amazon's a great business, Nvidia is a great business, Microsoft is a wonderful business. They are just too overpriced for me. However, if you're fine buying them and not looking at the stock price, you'll do well. Probably you'll do much better than I do. That's all for today. I hope you have a great day, and as always, I'll see you en la próxima.